Hi friends, it's the Life Coach Mom bringing you 7 tips in only 7 days to help you manage the holiday season this year. Each video is going to cover a different topic. Today's topic has to do with triggers. What do we do when we're triggered by that certain somebody or by a topic of conversation when we're all gathered around the dinner table over Christmas? How do you react? What's your initial reaction? And then I also want to talk about what your heart response is. What is the heart work involved? Now, I'm a mom, and so a lot of my examples come from motherhood, but you don't have to be a mom to understand this word picture. Now, we've all heard the expression that a mother wears many hats, or somebody can wear many hats, right? And it's kind of the same thing with our hearts. We can easily move in and out of different emotions at any given time. Our heart can hold many emotions. I can love and I can care for somebody and I can feel compassion towards somebody. And at the same time, I can feel the opposite emotions. I could feel anger. I could feel hate. I could feel resentment. I can feel annoyed or irritated, frustrated. These are all very normal human emotions. Okay, now I want you to think of the person or the situation, the conversation that is a trigger for you. Once you have that in your mind, I want you to be honest with yourself about this. What is your natural heart's response to that trigger or to that person? How do you typically react when you're around this person or when this topic of conversation comes up? How do you react? What is your natural inclination? Do you go right into anger? Do you go right into frustration? Do you naturally shut down? Do you go into rage? I want you to see if there's a pattern, because this now becomes the path of least resistance. This becomes your go-to emotion when that trigger happens. If there is a habit that you formed surrounding this trigger, understand that by yielding to that path, to that emotion, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. The only way that something's going to change in that moment is if you decide to change the way you react. That's what we always have control over. We can't control the other person, but we can certainly control or exercise our own self-control over how we respond. How I want to help you today is to encourage you to prepare your heart ahead of time, to ready your heart in advance. And it's not going to happen by entertaining in your mind how it's gone before and then saying to yourself, well, because it's always gone this way, it's always just going to continue being this way. Nothing changes when we think that way, and nothing will change until we decide that something will change. And the way something changes is with you, is to decide in advance, this is how I'm going to respond. This is how I'm going to conduct myself when this trigger comes across. And that starts with being honest. It starts with asking yourself the question, am I willing to go in a different direction? I always go to anger. I always go to rage. But am I willing to go in a different direction, in a new direction? And that's completely up to you. Are you willing to prepare yourself in advance to make a different choice in that moment when you're faced with that trigger? What value could you practice when faced with that trigger? You can decide to be a variety of things. You could decide ahead of time, when I'm with this person who's my trigger, I'm going to choose to be more gracious, more patient, more understanding, more curious, more loving, more forgiving. There's so many other choices, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to require you to make that choice ahead of time. Not waiting to be in the moment when you're facing your trigger, but preparing your heart, doing the heart work in advance. Because honestly, what I want you to be able to do at the end of the evening is to be able to look in the mirror and have a proud moment. A moment where you could say to yourself, I am truly proud of how I responded. Not how I reacted, but how I chose to respond. The fact that I chose to respond in a principled way as opposed to in a reactionary way. And that's it, my friends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.